Hello and welcome to the IGN UK podcast number 351. I wasn't on last week, but I'm sure it was like a big spectacle and a bonanza.
Balloons.
I wasn't on it either, but I heard banging.
Big event.
It was an hour of just people doing that on balloons.
Well, that was money well spent on balloon budget.
It went down well.
I am Daniel Krupa, or I was last time I checked. Joe Screbbles is with me.
Hello.
And Gavin Murphy.
Sup, brah?
Hello.
How many of us have eaten pizza for breakfast?
All of us.
Oh, it's
All
nice.
of us.
I had warm and cold.
Yeah.
I only had cold.
So the day
had warm
before
and cold.
this, actually, I was going to say before we recorded this yesterday, it was IGN's 20th birthday. That's not why I had pizza.
No.
That's just got a lot of salespeople bought a lot of pizza that no one ate.
Yeah.
Decadent.
Yeah.
Decadent
Fridges.
fucks.
Fridges full of pizza. It's unbelievable. It's like a college movie.
I saw Rory doing like rounds. He's coming back and saying, "This is my cold round.
Well, there
I'm
was-
gonna have a warm round next."
So there was a FIFA tournament. So work this out, right? This is our sales team. So it was
work this out.
It was 16 teams of 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
The email said
There were 60
there were
people.
60 people come in. That's not right.
Spectators.
No.
And they're supposed to be good with numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that forecasting?
Also, we got a text from Rory going, "Fuck, is there 60 people yet?"
Oh, really?
You know, if Rory's cracking down on the numbers, you're in the shit.
No, that is
Yeah.
sales.
Yeah.
Over-promising.
I've taken a shitload of painkillers just before we started doing
Yeah, you're in a
this,
lot
so-
of pain, aren't you?
Yeah, I felt my shoulder doing something. I don't know what. But I've taken, like, it said take 1, maybe 2 an hour. I've taken 4.
That's bad.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you really, with medicines,
Yeah.
you want to the letter, I think.
But I feel like I'm going for the Max Payne way of taking medicines, which is just chuck them all down until you feel good.
was cold like a gun.
You can't see this. Gav is diving around with his microphone all over the studio.
Yeah.
Well, I had a bit, like, I wish I'd taken them last night because I kind of wanted to be a bit like Woozy because I finished the first series of Hannibal.
So good.
And,
Drawing pictures. He looked at
Yeah.
them this morning.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about this quickly.
Yeah, we should,
Now that
yeah.
we're talking, well, I was going to talk about Max Payne for a second because
yeah.
you're going as Max Payne from Max Payne 3 for Halloween.
yeah.
In Japan.
And you've got the exact correct
The
shirt.
exact correct shirt, yeah.
You won't shave your head for it.
I can't shave my head.
You
man.
got
You were
to
thinking
shave
of
your
getting
head.
a haircut?
Yeah, but I'm 31. If I shave my head, it might not come back.
It
That's
will come
the
back.
age
You've got a
that I'm
thick head of
at.
hair.
You
Yeah, I do now. Before I'm like, what if I shave something and then I do something to the dead
follicles.
skin?
If I was
Fuck
gonna-
with the follicles. I'm
I
not
was
fucking
gonna
with the
Do that.
follicles.
That's a good band name.
if I was going to call you one
That's a good
thing,
title for the podcast. Fuck with the follicles.
if I was going to call you one thing,
Yeah.
it's virile. You're fine. You're not going to lose that hair.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You got
That's a good epithet to have. Like, wait, virile.
once you get to 31, you got to start thinking about things
What
differently.
would mine be?
Like my back.
Desiccated.
Don't
my-
try and teach me things.
My back's hurting because I sat on a sofa for a bit last night.
That's the least virile thing I've heard.
Yeah.
I injured myself how? Sitting down.
Yeah. And then it was like, I've got a foam roller, so I thought, oh, I'll roll this out. This would be fine. Made it worse. Made it 10 times worse.
Because you ate it.
What else do you want to do?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So that's it for this week. So first up, we've got packed. We've actually seen and watched and played lots of stuff.
Yeah.
So first up, we're going to talk about some films.
All right.
And earlier in the year, I went to the set of a Marvel film, which was actually in a really old, looked like a big shed in Surrey for Doctor Strange. And inside this old shed in Surrey was actually a Tibetan temple where Doctor Strange was.
They all would have been there, and that's why they had to film.
Yeah, they were like, we might as well use it.
Was it like... But I've got very fantastical ideas of what this must have been like to be in. Was it actual sort of Narnia style, you walk through a nondescript door and you're suddenly in a place?
You have to walk over a shitload of cables and around little tents where people are doing makeup and costumes and catering. But when you get to the set, like, there's green screens, obviously, where they're going to paint in scenery.
Yeah.
But it does look really impressive. Like, sometimes props and stuff, you realise how much good lighting and cinematography does to help it out. But it looked really impressive. So the scene that we saw being filmed.
How many times did you say, I love being backstage while you walked around?
I love about me.
How many times?
I'm at my most comfortable.
How many times did you say?
I probably said it about 12 times to the director. He was like, this is a live set.
This counts towards your time.
And also it's like, this isn't backstage, this is actually the set.
You did it once per take as well.
Yeah,
so
true.
you're definitely going to be in the background of the film.
Benny appreciated it. So the scene that I saw being filmed was, you see in the trailer a little bit, like Doctor Strange is like stranded up a mountain. I think it is Everest.
Yeah.
And it's one of the early stages in his training, and he's got to teleport back to camouflage where they're training,
Right.
and we saw the reverse shot where he manages, spoiler, to get back.
Yeah.
What?
And the way that they actually did it is so funny. They had this big hula ring,
Yeah.
and around it, like they had those kind of LED Christmas lights, like in a tube,
Yeah.
vined around this hula hoop.
What?
And they were just pulsing to give the ambient light, and he was just falling through this hula hoop onto a mat, and then just looking up, going,
Yeah.
and just I saw him do that about 20 times.
Must be so hard.
He's
to
played
do that
Hamlet as well.
stuff.
Have you ever seen his the wetter footage of him doing Smaug
No.
from The Hobbit? It's hilarious because he's so into it. So it's him just like crawling around on all fours, just going like. Rah,
Well, he's
like
actually
that.
doing the.
He's doing
dragon
like the
stuff.
movements and
But it's
stuff.
not motion capture, is it? He's just doing it to do
Fair
the
enough.
voice.
It's at least like partially motion captured.
Or are they animating to him?
He's
Yeah.
he's in a motion capture suit.
Oh,
so unless he
right. Oh,
demanded
okay.
it,
yeah, we're not.
They haven't even switched it
That's
on.
just- that's just what he wears.
We didn't bring the laptop today. Capture laptop.
but yeah,
He's
it's
like got those little balls on there. They're actually ping pong balls on his.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
this was just Dunlop.
that's the thing. It's like
Sports Express.
it's a really funny bit of footage, but when you actually think about what someone's having to put themselves through to get that final result,
yeah.
he seems quite good at that.
He was brilliant. So we interviewed him as well, and he's really funny and into it, and just very honest. Like a lot of actors just give you the bare minimum or just repeat things they know.
Yeah.
And he was really good. He was talking about why he wanted to do this because he's proper thespian. He does a lot of stage work. He does small interesting movies. It's like it looked really fun. It's
Yeah.
like I wanted to be in a massive movie.
Also-
and, like work on sets like these.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously, but like he's still minted
making some
anyway.
money,
But
yeah.
like he's like, I want to work on massive sets like this and go get fitted for crazy costumes. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking of that Everest scene, one of the things I like most about the trailer so far is his face when he comes out of the portal with Tilda Swinton onto the top of Everest. And instead of that kind of like epic big face, like I'm looking at wonder,
Yeah.
he just looks really excited.
Yeah.
His face is just like,
Yeah.
that's really nice. Like I really like the idea that I'm going to
Yeah.
see someone enjoying becoming a superhero because that's so rare.
This origin
Yeah.
story is basically a man going to university.
Yeah.
And then studying.
It's weird that appeals to me, isn't it?
Oh, it's strange that, Joe. But also it has Mads Mikkelsen in it, so that's
Yeah.
obviously going to be brilliant.
Number one best film.
But yeah, we did a thing on the site. You can go watch it and read it, where it's like 15 cool things that we learned on the set. And it's a supernatural kung fu movie with Hannibal as the bad guy.
Yeah,
That's all right.
That's pretty good. Also, in the TV spot that you told me to watch yesterday, it seems like Mads Mikkelsen's not being. I thought he was going to be like a really serious, over the top. Seems like it's quite funny.
Yeah, like
Really?
Yeah.
there's a funny exchange in the first TV spot where they have a back and forth.
Oh, that's good.
And also, like, Scott Derrickson, the director, kind of explained Caecilius, which is Mads Mikkelsen's character, super obscure Marvel villain. He's not even named in the issues he appears. And he described him, he compared him to John Doe from Seven,
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey's character, saying that I wanted an articulate villain. He is a villain by virtue of his views. He doesn't necessarily want to destroy the world. He just has a different way of approaching sorcery.
Unshakable logic.
Yeah, and he's like, that's scary. And he articulates his ideas. And the same way that I guess Hannibal is, like,
Yeah.
he really, he's one of the most intelligent people on the planet.
Yeah.
And he can
Eat the
articulate
rude.
his philosophy. And he just likes a bit of human.
He does.
Who might say that's wrong?
Yeah. I
I had
like
it on
all-
my pizza this morning. So
human
Cold.
pizza.
one thing that you didn't mention in your excellent article of 15 cool and interesting things is that you reckon there's going to be loads of tentacles in it. Can we discuss the fact that you think there are going to be tentacles in Doctor Strange?
I think there's going to be really weird stuff. Like, Ditko is the main visual influence, and his stuff is bonkers. Like, you were
Yeah.
looking at some of the comic art when you were putting together the video,
It's
and
mental,
it's just
yeah. Stunning.
it's stunning.
But-
And obviously later in Strange, they do. I think more in the 70s, they start incorporating Lovecraftian imagery and that kind of iconography. So that is crustaceans and tentacles and cephalopods, and the Lego.
That's what I was going to say. You've got that Lego set.
Oh, yeah.
Which is usually people from Lego see something from the movie, whether it's concept art way in
Yeah.
advance, and they build something around it. And it's set in the Sanctum Sanctorum, which is Strange's kind of like hideout. And there's tentacles coming through a wall.
Right.
Yes.
So like it
So
could be
into
just
that.
a small scene in the movie where something opens by accident. It's like, oh, close that.
Yeah.
Which would be a really funny little moment. but more tentacles in major movies. That's probably one of the reasons we like The Arrival. Tentacles.
Did we actually talk about The Arrival? I can't remember when we saw that.
It's not coming out for ages. Just talk about it week of release, isn't it?
Spoiler cast. Way down the line.
Yeah.
Best film of the year.
So that is Doctor Strange, which is coming out in the UK at the end of October, almost like a week before the US. So everything an American has ever done to hurt you, remember that once that movie comes out.
I've got
loads saved up.
I've got a list of people
Game of Thrones
on my Twitter that have spoilt TV shows for me. And I tweeted last time that it happened, going, I've got a list of people, and the next time a Marvel movie comes out, that's it. And then like I got unfollowed by one of them, and so I tweeted again, going, you can unfollow me as much as you want, because I know
I will find you.
I have a lot of ways of contacting a lot of you.
Now this is interesting. What date does it come out over here?
I think it's like
November 11th.
So
no, that's Arrival actually.
This is October, like 25th or something.
So one of those people that spoiled it for you, is going to be working in our office.
She's not going to be here at the same time.
Oh, is she not?
She's not going to be here at the same time.
That would have been interesting.
Well,
how would you have dealt with
what
that?
you're going to do? You're like the Defenders.
Yeah.
You're doing it on a small scale. I'm going to put it cover one on IGN in America.
Shattering reality like Doctor Strange.
I'm going Avengers style.
What I might actually do, and I think this is the way of doing it, because I think spoiling things is awful. But what I did before was a guy who spoiled some stuff for me. I sent him.
That's one of the best things you've ever done.
It is one of the best things I've ever done. It's my most successful tweet of all time. Basically, there was a guy who had effed me over a couple of times in my old job. Like he just actually reveled in spoiling things for people.
You can tell he gets off on it.
Yeah. And like he used to put it but he used to he spoiled Lost for people. He didn't even watch Lost. Like he'd come in the morning, read up on it, then put on his status, oh yeah, by the way, and then get on there.
Lost.
I know, awful, isn't it? So on the day that we went to see Star Wars, as we got home, I texted him going,
an early screening as well, like a couple of days early.
Also, like he's a big Star Wars person, Star Trek and Star Wars, and I said, hey man, are you going to see Star Wars? He's like, yeah, we're going to midnight screening tomorrow. Like, can't wait. One of the first people to see it in the UK. Oh, that's interesting because I've already seen it. I saw it last night. And he's like, oh my God, what's it like? And then I just
blew his world apart.
Just put loads of different shite that I just made up that didn't actually happen.
But yeah, that's the important point. You didn't become the villain.
No. Yeah. I put stuff. I just made up stuff that I hadn't actually happened. Sent that to him. But I still think I did wreck his night because he was probably going no. But then you could tell that he hadn't learned anything because he was like, oh, I've just spoiled it for his girlfriend's name as well. And I was like, why have you? And he was like, oh, you've also spoiled it for her. I was like, why have I spoiled it for her? He's like, well, I've just told her everything that happened. So I was like, you've learned nothing from this.
Gav, viruses don't learn anything.
What else is good films?
I don't know. This next one, you take this one away.
Yeah, we went to see A Monster Calls on Monday, which is a great film.
Yeah, I nearly walked out of it.
It's a sad old film, man, but it's a really powerful film.
It's from Juan Antonio. Is it Juan Antonio? J.A. Bayona.
Yeah.
He's doing Jurassic World 2.
Yeah, and he's known for such delightful romps as The Impossible.
Yeah.
And
The Orphanage.
So that's probably setting the tone. And I think it does make those two films seem much lighter in comparison.
What?
Absolutely.
It's darker than The Orphanage. Do you remember how that film ended?
Yeah.
Dude, it's like that ending, but for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Christ.
So
you think it's ended, and then there's another ending on top of it, and you're just like, I was actually shaking my head going, I can't handle this. I thought it was over.
Do you want to do a rough premise of it?
Yeah. So there's a little boy who is brilliant. I've never seen him in anything. I'm not sure if he's been in anything. And his mum is not very well, and she's really not very well. And basically, it's coming to the end of her life, and he gets visited by a monster. Big tree monster played by Liam Neeson, and over the course of the film, he's going to tell the little boy 3 tales, and at the end, when the last tale is being told, then the little boy has to tell him a tale, and the tale is this little boy's truth.
It's basically it's preemptive grief counselling.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of the movie. It's about navigating children through the nightmare of having a parent contract cancer.
Jesus
and it is beautiful, and it is magical, and it is important.
Yeah.
But it is obviously devastating.
Absolutely.
There's a bit in it There's the one scene.
Yeah.
And afterwards, because I lost a parent with cancer when I was like a little bit older than the kid in the movie.
Yeah.
And there's a bit afterwards I was going to tell my girlfriend about, and I literally can't bring myself to repeat it.
Yeah.
I can't repeat it. And even if I think about it, I can feel myself going.
Yeah.
And it's really well done.
Yeah.
And the kid is phenomenal.
He's so good in
I
that.
always think if you're directing, you're casting stuff like that, like so much rests
What if
on
he was
that
shit?
kid.
Yeah.
It's like,
What if
because
he
you
was
can
rubbish?
screen test and stuff, and you can get a sense, but then, you have to get so much out of him.
I'd like to. Like, we might get to talk to him, so I'd love to know like what the actual process was of getting that kid in.
There's been quite a good hit rate on kids in films recently. Everyone loved that Jungle Book kid. There's
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. There's the girl in Go with All the Gifts. People say is really
she's great
great
as well.
The little boy in Room. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
He was really good.
But the thing is, the director of It, I can't remember the name. This guy did Mama as well. He was saying because one of the kids from Stranger Things, the main kid, the reason he's not been doing press is because he's filming Stephen King's It.
He's Finn Wolfhard.
What's that?
That's his name.
That's what his name is.
His name is it's either Wolf Kill or Wolf Hard. It's got
Kill.
Wolf.
I thought you were going to say...
I'm thinking of the woman from Halo. Kiki
I thought it was
Wolf
like a
Kill.
Harry Potter character, like he was in Harry Potter.
No.
That's his real name.
He's something Wolf
and
Power.
And they asked the director of it, it's like, is it like, oh, did you cast him because it's Stranger Things? Like, is it... And he was just like, no, it's like, if you want kids that good, there's actually a finite small group of kids operating at that level.
Yeah.
So that's why you'll probably see more and more of these kids because they're just head and shoulders better than everyone else you see.
They're all those creepy kids that speak like adults.
They're just so precocious.
One of them at school, I hated them.
Do you see 11 on Jonathan Ross?
Hey, I can't stand watching her. She's too precocious.
Yeah,
she makes me feel uncomfortable.
She speaks more like a grown-up than I do.
Yeah. Like I interviewed the Dustin and Lucas, and like they were so sharp and so funny. Like you just forget that they're like 11 years old.
They're proper little showbiz kids, aren't they? They're like kids who learn tap dancing at 9.
We saw like Emmys, like they can sing and dance. And
fucking Lucas dancing to Uptown Funk.
Yeah.
When he just takes it away, so it's like body popping at the end and doing the robot.
He's one of the coolest looking people in the world.
He is, but he hasn't seen any of the Star Warses, so not that cool, is he? Because he's not watching Star Wars.
Sounds like he's not a nerd, Gav.
He's better than us in every regard. So, Monster Calls, we can recommend that very much. It's the only screening at the end that you can. I've actually heard people around me just go.
I had that at The Fault in Our Stars.
I've never seen that.
Why did you go see that?
I went and saw it with a girl.
How old was the girl? 12?
No.
He's like, this will work in my
She
favour.
liked the book.
She was of age.
It was quite a good film.
Yeah, is it?
It was all right. Sad.
I don't know what it's about.
I nearly cried.
What's it about?
It's about 2 kids with terminal cancer.
Oh, shit.
2 of them?
Yeah,
A twofer?
That's taking it.
Twofer.
That is taking the piss.
I will only see a cancer film if there's a big tree monster in it.
Correct.
Basically Groot.
Is it like... Because the advert seemed very Pan's Labyrinth to me.
Nah.
But
I don't think it is, no. It's not. It's rooted in reality more. Like, there's obviously a flavour, maybe.
Felt really... is it more BFG?
I think BFG's... I've not seen BFG, but I heard some people behind us in the screening talking about it afterwards. And
That's how you learn the critics.
Yeah, and they were like, and they were saying, like, this is, like, what the BFG could have been. Like, it kind of fulfills that potential more.
It felt really like a really old-fashioned sort of like... What's chweddle? It's a Welsh word. Like...
This is happening to you more and more.
I know, my brain's going mad.
Give up.
like a chweddle is like a tale with a moral.
Yeah.
What's that?
Fable.
Like a fable. Yeah, that's what it was. It kind of felt like that. It kind of felt like really old school.
Yeah, I
like
think there's
fable-y.
something really... Well, even when you were describing it, saying there's going to be 3 tales and then a fourth, like that structure as well. But also, like, it's filmed I think it's filmed in Huddersfield, so it's north of England, and it's got a very mundane aspect to it as well, contrasting with the fantasy.
That's cool.
And then obviously the 2 bleed together at points.
I really
well
like
done.
when they have a construct that's like 3. You know, it gives you a time because then you know when it's coming to an end, and you're
That
like,
is nice.
if you need a wee,
Go now.
he's only got one more tale to tell.
What was that film earlier this year that the guy who did Gomorrah did? With like Toby Jones. And it was like 3 really creepy fairy tales from Italian history?
I don't know.
It was meant to be brilliant, but it
really
sounds
good.
like a similar thing. But yeah, weirdly, the guy who did Gamora did it. So you're like, it's probably horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, based on that film and based on his previous work, what do we think Jurassic World's going to be like with J.A. Bayona?
Dinosaurs with cancer.
Sad. Really sad.
And a tidal wave.
I think it's going to be like...
God.
It's going to be all about the...
That really caught me. I didn't think about that.
It's going to be all about like the follow-up, I think. And like, it's going to be all about the fallout.
So
to
about all the
Jurassic World.
families who lost people. And
Yeah.
it's like, is this where you want to take this? Yeah, why not?
Genuinely, it's apparently about open source DNA, dinosaur DNA. So the world starts to be able, like 3D printers, but for dinosaurs. So apparently the world can start making dinosaurs.
Don't do that.
Come on, guys.
Who signed this off?
To be fair, though, that's probably InGen's fault, because I reckon InGen do such a good job of covering up the stuff that people are like, yeah, I'll 3D print this dinosaur. Why wouldn't I? Exactly. Nothing can go wrong. Nothing's ever gone wrong. Has it, InGen?
Do you remember the San Diego part? Yeah, it was a brilliant success.
Yeah. What about the other one? Brilliant. Everyone had a lovely time.
You seen the photos of it?
Yeah.
Good. So that is our little movie section.
Games.
I played one.
What you been playing, Joe?
It's called Virginia. It's weird. It's a first-person... It's basically a visual novel, but kind of done in the style of a first-person walking simulatory thing.
You said it's like a film. Should this be in the film section?
It could be. My impression of it is that the reason it's a game is because the people who made it know how to make games. And that's the only reason. It doesn't really need to be a game. But it does gain something for you being able to look around and kind of explore an environment and get a sense of it.
What's the pitch?
The pitch is... essentially, it is a cross. Well, they pitch it as like a cross between Twin Peaks and X-Files. It's set in 1992. An FBI agent goes. This is like the first scene, but it's still maybe a spoiler because everything's narrative.
Yeah, I don't know.
Basically, an FBI agent goes with another FBI agent she's never met who. Literally works in a basement office.
Excellent. And his name's Dog Boulder.
No, they're both ladies. It's called Ghana Skule.
Gina Trully.
And they go to a small town where a boy has disappeared, but then things start getting strange.
Yeah.
And you're essentially it's quite personal, so you learn a lot about the two people doing it. You try and solve this case, but everything seems to be in your way. There appear to be forces at work that are working against you for some reason, and it ties in a lot of the sort of mythology and iconography of those two things, Twin Peaks and X-Files, really well. Crucially, there is not a single word of spoken dialogue. No one ever speaks out loud.
What?
So the entire story is told through actions. There is stuff to read, but no one ever says anything. And even when they speak, they're just mouthing like weird little sock
Does their
puppets.
speech come up in text on the screen? What?
So you never hear a word anyone says.
Ooh.
Everything is implied, which is like... That by itself is an amazing achievement because I have a very clear idea of what that story was.
Cool.
It's lazy. Yeah, it's lazy. They couldn't find.
They've forgotten to put it in.
Couldn't find any like really good kids, so just sack it
That
off.
sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
What's the music like? So I'm assuming that's
Music
quite a big
is
part.
beautiful,
Right.
really, really good, and it's also the first game I've ever noticed have filmic editing.
Okay.
So there are moments where it's like you're very clearly walking somewhere. So the first time you go to this other FBI agent's basement office, you start walking out of your boss's office. He's not the ATAC, he's the AD, assistant director, like Skinner. And you're walking out, and then suddenly it cuts, and you're in another hallway. And you turn a corner, and suddenly it cuts, and you're in a stairwell walking down. And then suddenly it cuts, and you're in the basement office. And it's really cool. Like, it feels... There's some slight stutters on PS4, which is annoying. But I bet if you were playing on PC, it would be beautiful. Yeah. But yeah, it works perfectly because you're just essentially you're holding forward and it's just cutting scene for you. It's really clever. I've never seen any game try that before. It's really, really interesting.
That's a cool device.
And it does that a lot. And it also does it to just sort of fuck with your idea of what's happening. So there are without saying what they are, there are dream sequences where you suddenly find yourself outside of your character's body and looking at your character, and it's really creepy because you'll be.
That's awesome.
It's like your character sitting on her bed, and then it cuts, and you see your character falling asleep, and you're like, "What the fuck who am I?" And then you start playing a scene that could or couldn't be a dream, so you question who you are a lot of the time. It's really, really clever. I think the ending will annoy a lot of people.
Okay,
that's my issue with it. It's just. It goes so far into the obtuse that you go, well,
aliens.
Did I learn anything? But it's a fascinating thing, and it's like 3 hours long, and I recommend it. Just play it.
Is that PS4?
PS4 and PC, I think.
Lovely stuff.
It's good.
Hello.
We should play it and do a spoiler cast.
Yeah,
because it will be something that people want to.
I'm going to try and play it this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to play it this weekend. Gav, you've been watching a new television show which you told me about every single day while we make tea in the kitchen.
Because it might be my favourite thing that's happened this year.
What? Oh God, yeah. I'm glad
definitely
to concentrate on that.
It's definitely the best thing that's happened in my life this year. But it's I've forgotten his name now.
Donald Glover.
Yeah, all I could think of was Childish Gambino, his rap name. And I was like, that's not his name.
Do you know how he got that name?
No?
He got that name by typing Donald Glover into a online Wu-Tang Clan name generator. Really? Which you can still do today. You can find that same generator and type in Donald Glover and it will come up with Childish Gambino.
I'm going to do that straight away.
Yep.
But it's Donald Glover's show that's on FX and it's called Atlanta. Set in Atlanta. But it's like a 25-minute... kind of comedy, kind of weird drama.
Is it that short?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I'm going to watch it immediately.
Yeah.
I don't have to waste my time.
No. And it's kind of like, it's funny because he's a very funny person. He's like written and directed a lot of it with his friend. But it's funny and there's some bits that really made me laugh out loud. But there's also some really weird drama stuff going on as well. And it's kind of like Twin Peaksy, where something will happen and you're like, hang on, what just happened? But because it's very much based in the real world, like there's lots of references to like social media stuff. Like there's an entire episode the other day about like Snapchat and Instagram beef that this rapper has with this sort of like online Viner dude. So it's very much like based in this world. But then all these like just kind of like strange things happen, and these like weird little tangents and tiny little scenes happen.
Like surreal,
really surreal. Yeah.
Could it be described as magical realist?
But you don't realize that you're in like one of those scenes until you're halfway in it, and then you're like, holy, what is going on?
That's cool.
And it's really interesting. They keep doing these like really strange little B subplots, but there's kind of a main plot which is. Donald Glover's like really poor. That's a big part of it. Like he's super poor, and his cousin is this rapper called Paperboy who's made this song and this mixtape that's really blowing up online. So people are really going mad for it. So he's kind of like half managing him. So that's set up in the first episode, and you think, okay, that's going to be the sort of through, but that doesn't really nothing's happening with his career or anything like that. But they have like these really weird things where they'll take a scene. Or like a storyline which you've seen before. So this one's like a guy who hasn't got much money but wants to take a girl out on a date, and it unfolds. It starts unfolding in a way that you think that it would normally, and then something else happens, and it's just the way he reacts to stuff is really funny. And it's got a really amazing soundtrack as well, because I think he's like curated the whole soundtrack and some of his own songs
written it as well.
Yeah, he like wrote and directed some of them.
He's very talented. I hate
ridiculously talented. It's really annoying.
And he's on telly.
And he's on telly.
And he's sexy as well.
But
he's not sexy as well.
He's a good-looking man.
But it looks lovely as well. There's this really strange kind of like short, which is quite long. But it's on. I watch it on IMDb. No, but like
that sizzle reel. I was going to mention that. That's amazing.
It's kind of like a long trailer, but it kind of gives you like a feel for the whole show. I really recommend watching that, because if you like that, and I loved it straight away, then you'll be really into it.
It's cut in like split screen though, isn't it? So it's constantly like
that is the actual show.
Oh yeah,
the actual show isn't.
It's worth watching that sizzle reel just because
just
it's
for that.
Weird as hell. Like,
and it kind of like some episodes like kind of play with time a little bit, and others don't, and then
just juggling clocks.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm playing with that.
But episode 4, there's a B storyline episode 4 where he's selling his phone, and it's just one of the funnest things. Like, it's kind of one of the most obvious things that's going to happen, but it's a really fun way when it happens. But then also, you're having a really good time watching it, and then there's something really sad happens, and it pulls you in all these different directions. And at the end of the episode, I was like, I've got to watch that episode again. And I watched this straight away again.
Did you?
What
Yeah.
facial expression do you come out of each episode with? Because you're teeing it up in two very different ways.
I come out of each one going, I love that, like absolutely that.
Yeah.
But I just did like a surprise
Your mouth
happy
is
face.
really wide,
open.
and then your eyes like a little
Yeah.
flutter.
If I was to audibly try and display what face Gav just made, it would be this.
Yeah.
It'd be like
But
that.
then
It was a bit like that. Yeah.
Then I'm also
Yeah.
like thinking about it, just sat there on my couch thinking about the episode for ages and going, oh, I've got to watch it again, because you think, I don't want to have missed anything in that.
Where can you watch this?
I don't know.
One of them.
We've got some links through work. That's how I'm watching it.
Yeah.
But
American
I'm sure
screeners.
it'll be on FX or something soon. And FX stuff usually comes on to Netflix as well.
It does.
And talking of Netflix, something you can watch right there today, as of today,
Yeah.
is Marvel's Luke Cage, which is the third of the Marvel Netflix shows, and it's all right. Like, so when I've seen 7 episodes, and when I first watched it, I was like, it's really, really slow, and I finished watching the 7th episode a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't give me any access to that sweet Netflix screeners.
Yeah.
And I have been thinking about it ever since, and I think the last 2 episodes were pretty good, because I told you guys I think it's quite slow, and
Yeah.
I think it's more just about reconfiguring my expectations of what it was, because
Yeah.
Daredevil takes a lot from the comics.
Yeah.
Same with Jessica Jones. It's pretty much the Brian Michael Bendis stuff of recent years, whereas Luke Cage doesn't really have that richer recent history.
Because
Yeah.
you really like Luke Cage, don't you?
I really like Daredevil. You really like Luke Cage.
Yeah, yeah.
And
right.
I think there's more freedom with this show given to the showrunner what you want to do. There's nothing direct for him to adapt as
That's
such.
a really good point, yeah.
Whereas Daredevil, they're bringing in a lot of the Miller and the Greg Rucka and
Yeah.
the Bendis stuff. Same with Alias. And yeah, Luke Cage factors into that eventually. But I think it's much more freedom. And I think it's more kind of an urban crime drama.
Yeah.
But for the first 5-6 episodes, he's really a reluctant hero.
Yeah.
So it's quite slow. But I'm kind of looking forward to the second half of the season. So it's not. Don't make this comparison lightly, and it's not maybe a comparison of quality, but The Wire or something like that, because you see this little area, Harlem in New York, from lots of different sides, and the kind of the villain in it, the evil, is very diffuse. Some of it's bureaucratic evil, some of it's street level evil, but they're all kind of interdependent. So that's kind of interesting.
It feels like it has a similar goal, but obviously completely different execution to The Get Down, which is something I half enjoyed. And like does the same thing where it's like, here's a very small area of a place that, well, certainly someone like me does not understand and has never been to, and examines
Well,
it.
you definitely fit in well there.
Oh, yeah. I get on with everyone. I'd be straight down church.
I'll be straight down church.
Even if it was a Wednesday.
I'd be up the front doing that dancing. But it would be...
That dancing I've heard so much about.
No, I've watched it in the Get Down. But it's got that same thing of like examining that situation from loads of different perspectives, but also with like a slight weird kind of properly fictional bent to it.
Yeah,
you know,
like
that kind of odd thing.
It wears some of its cultural influences very much on his sleeve. Like he's like, in early episodes, he's sat in a barbershop as this kind of cornerstone of the black community, and he's sitting there reading Walter Mosley or Ralph Ellison, and music plays, and it's like you can tell what the songs are. It's not just background music, and it's.
Is Method Man in it as Method Man?
Yes, he is.
Have you seen that in that trailer?
Yeah.
I really like that moment. I've not seen that in the show yet, but that's a really cool moment.
That is an amazing
And there's also,
cameo.
it was getting to that point by the end of when I stopped watching it. This running joke of like him just having to get new clothes all the time.
Right, okay.
And he's just getting really pissed off because he's like, I'm sick and tired of having to buy new clothes all the time.
That's really good.
Because
I
he's
like-
poor.
Yeah.
I like that kind of...
So even though I was kind of maybe a bit like lukewarm on it initially, I've been thinking about it quite a lot. So maybe that's actually an indication that I do think it's quite good.
I do think all the Marvel Netflix shows have real problems with pacing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like
look-
Jessica Jones ends 4 episodes before it actually
And I feel
ends.
like this is building quite nicely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all available today. So
That's
I'm
good,
sure
isn't
by
it?
the time next week's episode, most people have watched it. So
Yeah.
send us what you think about the show to IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com.
And we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Why not?
But you're like, we're all heroes in our own way.
Yeah.
Some of us are heroes for hire. Some of us are heroes when drunk.
Are we
Yeah.
are we actually going to talk about this?
We should, yeah.
Yeah, so last Saturday, myself, Joe and Gav and my girlfriend, we went to some drinks. We drank some Goose Island beer.
Some drinks be asked. Like, we didn't stop drinking.
Yeah, so we were there from what time? 4.
It was an old-timey Chicago block party held by Goose Island in East London.
So we
I really felt like I'd been transported. Because,
you?
not really. But
Because there was an Oculus Rift in the corner.
which they hid later
Which
on in
is-
the evening.
Yeah.
Well, there was Cornhole, which you guys never played.
That was a fantastic game.
There's a beanbag-based game.
Can we do a Let's Play of Cornhole?
Yes.
Cornhole on VR.
Yeah.
I bet Cornhole VR exists.
It's not the same though, because like I like actually having the beanbag, and you're like, here we go, this is going in.
So about like
Couldn't
I
get
guess like maybe like 3 or 4 hours into it, we drunk quite a lot of strong IPAs, and we were sat on a bench, and you'd been to get food, and you come back, and do you want to tell it from your perspective, like heroes, through the hero's eyes?
Okay, yeah.
I've told this
And then
story so
and
many
then
times.
and then me and Joe will give you the innocent bystanders.
This is what I think happened.
I could be like that girl at the end of Avengers going, he was amazing.
This,
He
is,
just
this isn't fair because you've heard me tell this story.
Like, this is what I think happened.
Okay.
I'm over getting some food. I hear a scream.
a portal opens up.
I drop my food on the floor, and someone goes, that's really expensive food? And I was like, leave it. It's not for now. I run over after hearing this scream.
No hero has ever said that.
It's not
I
for
will,
now.
I will be back for that brisket.
Like
it on
Bruce
the
Banner
floor.
having some chips.
yeah.
Literally leave it.
So I came back from having some food or getting a drink, and there were some drunk men standing near our table, eating some food, and bits were falling out of the food. They were standing very close to our table as well.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable. It was
Praying.
Yeah.
one of their legs was against the picnic bench seat.
Yeah.
Where you would be sitting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know-
if you
I know-
were sitting there, he'd have his knees in your
and
back.
it wasn't like
In
an
my
open,
gut.
and also it wasn't like an open space behind our bench. Was like the sound
yeah.
desk. So he's gone like down
about
like a
2
little
feet.
alleyway to stand there.
Why is he standing there?
Because well,
They were drunk out
we
their
know
minds.
why.
Yeah.
We know.
So I go over and I noticed that my jacket's on the bench, and where they've been eating, they've been dropping some filth onto my jacket. So I said, "Excuse me, you're dropping stuff on my jacket," and they kind of looked down at it, and I was like, "Can you get it off, please?" So he started brushing the stuff off.
Can we? I tell you
Hello?
what we'll do. We'll
Yeah,
footnote
okay,
this.
yeah.
So should we wait? Are we doing these as end notes or
do it
stops?
as I go. Yeah,
It's like this could be like Rashomon.
yeah.
Footnote 1.
Yeah.
Correctly, but crucially, you were much more aggressive than what you just
Right. Okay.
said.
Yeah.
Oh mate,
Your tone was far more forceful,
Okay.
and the way you made him clean it off your coat was purposely humiliating.
With his
Yeah.
tongue.
Yeah, with his tongue. Lick it up!
What? So okay, I don't remember this.
Well, no, it was just...
clean it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, because the first time he looked at you and because he was trying to be hard, but he was
Right.
clearly intimidated.
Okay.
He was also very posh, which I can empathise with.
Yeah.
He just
You're
went,
like, wait, Gavin, let me talk to him.
look, I've got this. I've had this a lot of times
Where did
in the
you
Great
summit?
Hall.
Okay, so I'm a lot more forceful than that. Then.
Yeah.
I don't.
Heroes need to be.
Maybe I didn't say excuse me.
You definitely didn't say it.
Oh mate, it was more like
Fuck it! What's this cheese on my jacket for?
Gav, it's your cheese.
Yeah. Well, I'm going Ian. I don't care. So that happens, and then so unbeknownst to me, then,
No, you sit down.
I sit down.
We chat. We drink for a little bit.
Yeah, and the next thing I know,
Footnote 2.
Yeah.
During the course of you not noticing anything happening,
yeah,
we definitely noticed that they were talking a lot to each other confidentially,
Right.
and looking at you.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was,
What?
I was quite pissed.
Oh, I was talking to you about it.
I don't remember that.
Okay, well, that was definitely happening. They were
I
whispering
may
to each
not
other.
be a reliable witness.
we are the
And
worst
they-
defenders ever.
I don't know
I
why.
don't know. Well, wait till we get to the end.
I think the adrenaline of this sobered me immediately.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
ready for
Getting
fights.
excited. All right.
You'd seen the
And
red
then-
mist.
So, okay, so and then what? So they were talking confidentially.
But I didn't know this.
Yeah.
So the next thing I know is I feel what can only be described as
No, sorry, footnote 3.
What?
They first they got their box of empty chips and put them down really hard and aggressively between you and Bex, who was sitting on your side of the table.
That's correct. Yeah.
Which was a very clear sign of like testosterone is getting is pulsing through his balls or whatever whatever testosterone does.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a medical opinion.
It's good. Okay, so then the next thing I feel is on my back something cold and wet that wasn't there before and that I didn't put there.
He'd thrown a jellyfish at you.
He'd thrown one of those like goober fish, like, really sad looking ones.
Goober fish. That's not what they're called.
So the only thing I can he's obviously chucked some beer over me, like because they were going to leave, and they chucked some beer over me. Went over my coat. I think some might have gone over Bex. So I turn around and they're both sort of like scarpering off. So the next thing I know, I give chase.
All right, footnote.
Yeah.
You did, absolutely. Yeah. This is just a funny footnote. One of the things I do remember quite clearly is, because it's a very busy event, when they were running away, I saw the man's face at the point he realised you were in pursuit. He absolutely shit himself. It was just this freeze frame of a man who just really regretted something.
Yeah.
Because also, an interesting thing about it was, like, clearly they were too drunk to properly think through what they were doing, but we didn't know what had happened.
No, it was like because there was a delayed response.
He hadn't like looked at you and chucked it. He just, as he was walking away, just poured it over you.
Right,
which is such a snidey little action.
So we didn't really know what had happened for a couple of seconds.
Also, what I loved was the moment it went over you and you realised what had happened. Your body shape changed so dramatically because you'd been very relaxed and happy, and then it hit you, so you straightened up, and then when you knew what was happening, your entire face just changed like fucking Buffy, and and you just like
a werewolf.
Your fucking shoulders jutted out, and you just stood up. Sorry, I just spat everywhere. You just stood up out like really quickly.
Yeah, you were off. You were off.
It was amazing to watch adrenaline just pump.
And then you were off for a bit, and I was like, all right. And then Joe got up beside me and was like, well, I'm going to go see what this is about. So Joe done one. I was like, well, I'll keep the table then.
Bex
has gone to the toilet.
Yeah, well, that's I wanted to, I was like, all right, I've got this.
I think
just in case they come back for Bex.
You need to see it.
I think we had...
I'll keep it safe here just in case they come back for it.
My brain says that we discussed what the decision was, but maybe we were just looking at each other for ages.
So you got to go see it.
Telepathic.
And then so
I ran after him through the crowd, and it was cool. It was like there was bands playing. Like it was a really cool little event with cool people around.
What you should take away from this story is we are cool.
We are cool. We got a cool thing.
The coolness. These guys trying to make it uncool.
These guys definitely trying to make it uncool.
They looked uncool.
So I run through the crowds, going, "Please part. I need to right a wrong."
We weren't there to witness that, but you just know that you were just going,
death! I need flesh! So I run, and I managed to grab him up by his t-shirt, like just underneath the collar of his t-shirt there. But he's trying to run away, and I'm obviously stopped. And the force of him trying to run away and the force of me stopped ripped his t-shirt like so violently that it, like you described it as...
well, essentially, because it pulled from the collar, but it also ripped in half. I don't know how you grabbed it, but essentially
shoddy workmanship, that's how, Joe. This country's gone to the shit.
The crowd had parted, because obviously an altercation was happening, people moved away. So I came through, that liminal space of like, can't see. Suddenly I'm in the open and all I can see is you and this other guy.
Yeah.
The first thing I see is there's this guy's nude back. Because it had ripped in half, leaving just the collar, so he looked like a sexy vicar. Like if a stripper vicar had lost conviction halfway through. It was so funny.
So I've got hold of this guy. His shirt is just undone. But like the best thing is, like, like your little circle of like elastic on your t-shirt, that's intact.
Absolutely intact. That's keeping it out. This is the strongest bit of clothing I own.
Yeah.
This collar.
This is most of the work of a t-shirt. What I love about this also is like he's probably planning on going on for a big night out, and this was about 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Well, his mate had just run and left him.
Can we talk about his mate.
Oh yeah.
So earlier in the night, Gav had seen some twins and pointed them out. He liked the fact that they were twins, Neil. Identical twins, I should say.
Yeah.
For some reason, Gav assumed that the two people who had assaulted him were twins, and were those twins.
It makes it sound more like supervillains.
Yeah. I'm only. It does. But I'm still only 40%. I'm still 40% sure it was the twins.
They looked, firstly, different to the twins, and secondly, different from one another. But the best part of this, like, to skip forward very slightly, when you walked outside and the other one had run off, you shouted at the guy, "You're not so tough without your brother here," which to him must have been fucking like bamboozling.
Without your identical twin.
Like, have I thrown beer down like an actual insane person?
What have we done?
But so this guy was just like really posh, and the bouncers came over and was just like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, this guy thrown beer over me." He's like, I did not throw beer over him." And he kept saying, "I did not." He kept repeating, "I did not." I was like, "Look at my back. Look at my back. I've got beer on there.
Look at his back, nude."
Yeah.
He shouldn't even be in here wearing that.
To be fair, if the bouncers are looking at the two of us,
Look at the situation.
like, I'd be on the twin side.
And yet they took your side, which is either they're bad bouncers or they're great detectives.
Yeah.
Who knows which?
And
Class solidarity.
Good bouncers are always great detectives.
Class solidarity. They were very posh bouncers. They weren't. I don't know. But I never heard them.
Might be.
But it was good. It wound down after that. We played some more cone.
Also,
Not wind down. You followed them out with the intent of beating him up.
Yeah, but I didn't.
And he went hid in that rainforest.
Yeah.
I remember the moment at which I think when we talked about this last time, we talked about how your eyes had rolled back in your head like a Jaws.
I think this is why you're getting all these injuries secretly at night. You're going out and doing this sort of stuff,
beating up poshos.
But we thought it'd be an interesting thing to shout, like, because that day I felt like one of the defenders.
Well done, Gavin.
When is a time that you've been a superhero? Let us know. IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com.
I never have.
You have.
I don't think I've
If you think about it.
Oh, I did one really good thing, but it ended in tragedy. Kid from my school was getting beaten up on the side of the road.
On the reg.
He was a larger lad.
Right.
And I went over and I said, "Don't beat him up. He's a larger lad." No, I said he's like, these were like much bigger kids. We were like
kids
13.
get beat up. All right, man, leave it out.
And
When you say they were bigger,
what do you mean?
not bigger than Big Lad.
No, well, they were just older and stronger.
Right, okay.
And one of them was very tall. And so I broke that up. And they were like,
I think you just said, "I've made myself bigger." Like when you take on a bear.
There's a lot big going on in this story.
Strapped on platform shoes.
I'm struggling to like scale this all up in my head.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's big lad, there's the bigger lads, and then you made yourself big.
Cut
size
a
of
long
a
story
house.
short, I ran across a busy road to save another kid, and then when they said they'd stop, I turned around and they headbutted me in the back of the head, and I got a concussion. And that was it.
Not easy being a hero.
It's not
It isn't. I felt like
IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com. Let us know.
Where's our nightness? Right,
Here we go.
the big one, the big feature.
This is big. This is big.
It's keyword countdown, Gav.
Keyword countdown. Time for keyword countdown. It's keyword countdown. Time for keyword countdown. It's keyword countdown.
This is a big one because at the top of the league is Joe Screbbles with 71 points.
All right.
Second in that very league, Daniel Krupa with 62 points.
As we've pointed out, though,
What?
Krupa's definably better at this game than me because he's got that in 3 appearances.
3 appearances.
And I've got it in 6.
Doesn't matter.
I'm glad.
Here we go, guys. Keyword countdown. If you don't know what it is, IMDb catalog their films in a variety of crazy ways by using bonkers keywords. Like, for instance, it's Jurassic Park. One of those is man thrown into air, which is always my favourite keyword. And I have got 10 keywords here for 5 different films. And you guys need to tell me what those films are.
Is there a theme again?
There is a theme.
Last
For
time you
1
did
point.
this, because I've only done this a few times, you go very quickly.
I'll go slower.
Okay.
I try and make it like a couple of times that you've played. The theme has been very obvious.
Yes.
So I've tried to be
That's good.
less obvious.
You want the theme to be the last thing that's guessed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I mean, this it's a game we've made up. Like, this is us play testing.
That's true. This is QA.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't even cough. Film number 1.
Why are you sucking on my pen?
Oh, sorry. This is your pen, so, yeah. Sorry. That is bad form.
You can have it.
Number 1.
Yeah, it's your pet now.
Cult film.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Washed Out.
The Artist.
Bare-chested male.
Animal House.
Tour bus.
Little Miss Sunshine.
The Doors?
Camera.
The camera and tour bus. Almost Famous.
Improvisation.
Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Oh, he could have got that on cult film, I bet.
Washed Out. What's washed out?
Like washed out
I think they meant
rock
like,
stars.
yeah, washed out rock stars. But when you,
I was thinking
you
literally,
think like,
I was thinking like
I like that.
Faded.
That's one.
film lenses.
So he's up to 67 points. Grouper is.
Spinal Tap's very good.
The other clues: drummer, rockumentary, satire, Stonehenge. Very good. Very
Camera.
good.
You got it on camera.
I was
Improvisation.
thinking,
Oh,
improvisation.
yeah, of course you did. Sorry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go on camera.
Film number 2. Unlikely Friendship.
Turner and Hooch.
One day.
Midnight Run. Trading Places.
Racism.
Trading Places.
3-word title.
Rush Hour. No, wait. Rush Hour 2.
Racial issues.
God.
Illiteracy.
What?
What?
Church bombing.
Church Point?
Talking while driving.
I was going to say Time to Kill, but it's a Time to Kill, isn't it? That's not comedy.
This isn't a comedy.
Oh, I thought you said comedy.
No. We're racial issues, literally
Do you
church
find
bombing.
comedy can be found in the unlikeliest of corners?
Talking while driving. Old
Driving
age.
Miss Daisy.
Yeah. Well done.
Oh, he's catching me up on...
So he's there. 71.
Fuck's sake.
The other ones:
Choked.
old age, interracial friendship, chauffeur.
I would never have got that because I didn't know there was a church bombing in that film.
It's not one of the main scenes.
That's not.
How is that not a main scene?
They got a lot to get through.
That's just on the credits.
She's like driving. Come on, leave that.
That's
bit
where they're
for me.
driving to. It's just the credit sequence.
Yeah.
Say off. Drive away.
Okay. Film number 3. Year 1967.
1967.
Champagne.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Call girl. Tax evader.
Something Like It Hot.
Check forgery.
LA Confidential.
Flight attendant.
Oh,
Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
God damn it. I wasn't going to say that anyway. I was going to say Jackie Brown.
Well done, Krupa.
Fuck's sake.
He's up to 76, 71 now.
That's fine. This just affirms that I'm not as good as Grouper. That's fine. That's fine. I don't care.
You need this one, Joe, to like.
I don't care.
This one, you get your back. You get your eye in.
I don't even care about this anyway.
It's too big of a jerks.
Yeah.
Other clues: cat and mouse, FBI,
Oh, I have that one.
prison visit, Pan Am.
How quick are you going now?
Oh, he's going.
No. That was what I was doing.
Oh, I see. Sorry, my bad. My
That
bad.
was the other ones.
No, because like, then I started crapping myself. I was like, oh, we started.
Yeah.
No. Film number 4. Canoe.
Without a paddle with Seth Green.
Group of friends.
Without a paddle.
The River Wild.
Oh, I don't have the.
Rural setting.
What the fuck is it?
Oh, Deliverance.
Yeah. Do you have that in groups as well? Yeah.
Could have got that after a group of friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
79, 76. Oh, this is great, guys. The other things: cultural difference.
That's such an understated
yeah.
way of putting it.
Yeah. The cultural difference drama that will blow your mind this summer.
Is this making you feel uncomfortable? It's mainly a cultural difference.
Yeah. Businessman.
Sodomy scene is really my issue.
Southern Gothic. Rotten teeth. Forced to strip.
Oh, God.
Hillbilly. Inbreeding.
I've never actually watched Deliverance.
It's really good.
In many
it's
ways,
great.
those keywords could apply to our Goose Island instead.
7976. Here we go then. All to play for.
Twins.
3 points in it.
If one of these is just a set of keywords about your night out.
No. Film number 5. The Last Film. Comic violence.
The Three Stooges.
On the road.
Dumb and Dumber.
Mexican standoff.
The Three Amigos.
Gore.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Dog.
El Mariachi.
Money falling through the air.
Oh, Christ.
Oh,
Better not be Rush Hour.
Human versus undead.
Fuck.
Slow motion scene.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Zombieland.
Day of the
Zombieland.
Dead.
Oh!
Well done.
Oh, what's the theme? Road movie? Driving cars?
Go through them. So wait. Deliverance. Catch me if you
Sorry.
can.
The other clues for Zombieland: zombification, Twinkie. So Joe, you're still top. It's 82 to 76.
I don't see. I want Cooper to catch up to my number of
Well, that's
appearances.
the thing. Like,
It's average, isn't it? At the end of the
I'll
day.
average it out, and
You're definitely
like,
winning by
he's
a long way.
banging it.
What's the? Let's have a think of the theme. Can we do the theme together?
So yeah,
Yeah. Well, because it's worth a point now.
Oh, is it worth a point?
It's
Oh,
worth-
is it?
it's worth 1 point. Yeah.
I would love to
So-
work alongside you, Chris.
This is Spinal Tap. It's hard. This is Spinal Tap. Driving Miss Daisy. Catch Me If You Can. Deliverance. And Zombieland.
Is it just cars? Driving in cars?
It's not. I don't think you're going to get it. But then remember, it's something in the episode that
Yeah.
we've just done.
Oh, is it?
Oh, all set in Virginia?
No. Very close though.
Atlanta.
Yeah. So all the films have either like all set or a large part set.
That's
in
good. Good theme.
That's a very good
So
theme.
Kruger's up to 77.
Nice.
Ooh.
Because he got the theme. Excellent.
Cool.
I dare
You're
say,
really
I
good.
That was a
dare say
good
one of the best
old-
keyword countdowns we've ever
That
done.
was a great keyword countdown, Gav.
You're very good at keyword countdown,
And
Cooper. I don't like
thank
it.
you, Joe. And you're very good at reading.
Thanks, man.
So take it away with feedback.
This one's titled "Prepare to Try" is awesome, and Gav is a hypocrite.
Oh, lovely.
Hi, guys and girl. Oh, this is from Michael Davenport. I'm a long-time listener who has recently been watching Prepare to Try 2 with Rory, Gav and Krupa, and I've been moved to write in due to Gav Murphy's appalling hypocrisy.
So if people don't know what Prepared to Try is, it's a series that me, myself, and
Me, myself,
And Irene.
me, Krupa, and Rory do, where we have been playing Dark Souls and Dark Souls 3.
comes to an end today.
Comes to an end today, yeah.
That's why I've chosen this part of it. Loyal listeners will know that Gav is mega aggressive against people who cause distractions in cinemas. Yet, in the course of Prepare to Try 2, this same man reveals that he tried to ruin a girl's cinema-going experience with surreptitious groping and teenage finger blasting. Did you talk about this in Prepare to Try?
I thought that's something that got cut.
Not in so many words.
Finger blasting.
Surely much worse than playing with your phone, Gav.
I've never used any of those words. What I said was I went on a date with a girl and tried to go off her in the cinema, and she was having none of it.
Groping and finger blasting?
Yeah, those bits didn't happen. It didn't get that.
It didn't
get
happen.
that far.
wasn't
It
allowed.
didn't get that far. It
Not
wasn't on
for
the
once
cards.
of trying.
Yeah.
But anyway, you ruined a girl's cinema-going experience.
I don't think I ruined it. I don't think I
What's that?
ruined
That
it.
was like you were trying to you were ahead of your time. That was what was that D-boxing?
Yeah, that's not ruining it.
Anyway.
That's just the course of a date. But very well done for pointing that out. Very astute.
Seriously, though, says Michael, I've really enjoyed the series so far, and it's been great to get to know Rory, Gav, and Dan. I recommend all podcast listeners get on YouTube and give it a go. 2 quick questions. 1, are there plans to take on Bloodborne after this? Given it's the final day.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We don't
We'll
know
have to
yet.
see. We'll see.
see.
He needs to go speak to the director at Channel 4.
Yeah.
And 2, this is a bit odd. As someone who doesn't read the IGN website and view ads, how else can I support the podcast site and show? Should we look at the site?
Tell your mates.
Leave it in the background on a
Jay-
browser.
Tell your mates
me.
about it. Tell your mates that it's a great podcast and people
Yeah.
want to
Watch,
listen to it.
or if you don't like the website itself, go on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Because there's
Or
loads
P-
of
or a lot of people watch stuff on PS4 app as well.
Yeah, at the
Snapchat
moment
is really good.
At the moment, we're doing we're attempting to do 2 Let's Plays of weird indie games that we like every week. So those are worth watching.
Yeah.
Is Everjane going up this week?
No, next week.
Next week we've got a Jane Austen MMO that we played. Gotta watch that.
I think like just telling your friends, watching things. Lots of people have described Prepared to Try as a podcast with video games. Like some people have said that they actually watch Prepared to Try like on their way to work and they got their phone in their pocket and they listen to it on headphones. They don't actually care about the gameplay or anything because it's essentially a podcast with now and again us actually talking about something that goes on in the game.
I think that's fair.
So, yeah.
P.S. Don't worry, Gav. Everyone does that thing where they lie in bed and beat themselves up. You are not alone.
Good.
So that's for you.
Because that's one of my main jobs. All right. I don't mind reading this out, don't get me wrong. But I don't like the fact that Chris Bolton, a.k.a. Kakiri_Forrester on Twitter, has written to nvc@ign.com and IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com.
I did not know that.
She's written to the Nintendo voice chat and IGN UK feedback.
But his new message is just to us, right?
It is.
It's how they're reading our mail, though.
That's all right.
It is, yeah.
So
It is like they're reading our mail.
the first part is an old message. The second half is new.
Okay.
New information. That's why I've highlighted it.
Excellent. Oh, sorry, yeah. All right. But don't ever do that again, Chris. Or you'll be banned from listening to the show. We'll have your phone blacklisted. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah. We can blacklist an email address.
Blasted.
I'm going to finger blast your email address, mate.
All right, this is a nice email. I need to mention Prepared to Try as well. Hi all, I thought I should give you an update. Back on episode 337, around the 52-minute mark, you read out my email regarding nerdy baby names. Well, here we go. Saria Isabel Bolton will be 4 weeks old tomorrow. So this is you were on this podcast, right?
I think I was. I
So this
certainly
is-
remember reading this email.
He was asking for advice on what he should call his baby, and apparently Rory gave the thumbs up to Saria Isabel, and that's what they've called their baby. So like we
That's
actually
wonderful.
helped name a child.
That's not a responsibility any of us should be allowed to
No,
have.
we've not had many people know where the names come from. Yeah, loads of people will be like, "Oh, so episode 337 of the Audio UK podcast."
Give it a listen.
Yeah. We've not had many people know where the name comes from or pronounce it correctly without help, though I do get a load of eye rolling from relatives once I tell them. Oh. That's shit, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That happened to a friend of mine as well. They called their
Kratos.
baby Florence Have. Have means summer in Welsh. Like Florence Have. And I think that is one of the most beautiful names I've ever
It's really
heard.
nice.
But apparently people-
Who's rolling their eyes at that?
I thought you were going to say, like, we called our baby
Samsung.
Chris Tucker.
Yeah. But it's really strange, isn't it? Like old people they're like, oh, crazy hippie names. Shut up, Barbara. Needless to say, we're not sleeping much, but I am getting some Twilight Princess HD playtime in. Haven't taken the new Deus Ex out of the case though. Attached are a few pics, one of which is up late catching up on Prepared to Try.
Yeah, next
Oh,
page.
What?
They're only little.
Oh, it's like a little baby.
It's a very
With
cute little
Prepared to Try
baby.
on the background. Not
brilliant.
watching it though, mate. Point it towards
I've
the
actually-
screen.
that's,
For God's
um,
sake.
Think of where he is with the camera.
It's not the only person that's told me that they watch Prepare to Try when they're up during the night with their baby.
Should we maybe
tailor it towards that.
adjust the content a little bit?
Oh,
Like,
baby can't hear. Well, he can hear, he doesn't understand.
Also, actually,
that's the thing about babies.
what aids a baby's development? Classical music. What kind of score does Dark Souls have?
Yeah,
Classical
that's
music.
true, actually.
So you're helping.
although we did just talk about like me walking up a mountain and getting just wanking off at the top of the mountain. The baby
That's
need
the
to hear
final
that.
episode.
Teenage
Like-
finger blasting as well.
But I'm actually interested to hear about like people with kids because so I do with friends of mine. I do like a Walking Dead marathon every like couple of weeks where we watch all of the Walking Dead series, the new series together. Yeah. We've done it for ages. We used to do it with Lost, and then we moved on to the Walking Dead. And they've just had a baby, so I had the baby sitting on me watching the last series. This series has just gone, the one before.
Walking Dead.
Of The Walking Dead, and she's like sitting there watching it because she's like 3-4 months old.
That's awful.
And we were just sitting there, and she obviously can't make out what's going on or anything. And there's a bit where like Daryl is being attacked by a person, but then a zombie comes and he puts his hand inside a zombie's mouth, rips off the zombie's head, then kills the guy with the zombie head. And I was like, the baby was watching it. And I was like, yeah, just put my hand in front of her
Yeah.
eyes. Like, what?
That's too old.
Yeah, but like, I don't know if she
3
can.
or 4 months.
But I'd like to hear from people if like what they do when they want to watch stuff and their kids are in the room.
You do that. You turn the baby away from the screen towards you.
I really hope we don't get people writing in saying they blindfold their babies. We put on the late night helmet.
We've got a little cage.
little biker's helmet.
But yeah, IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com.
This is from Sausage Bro. So
Sweet.
thanks, Sausage Bro. A few weeks ago, you were talking about an X-Wing GPS, and I thought you might like to know that I actually own a TomTom that can change its voice settings to Darth Vader. Cool as this may sound, it's actually pretty goddamn useless. When it approaches a junction, it begins to repeat, turn to the dark side. Given that it never says which side it meant to take, was just a shit idea. It also said docking to Death Star when you're trying to park. Sadly, a TomTom has such a bad interface that we've never been able to change it, so we've just turned off the volume.
I love the turn to the dark side thing. That's so useless.
Yeah, which way is it?
Whose idea was
the dark
that?
side can be anywhere.
It's awful.
But then, like, I would actually like to have like, I don't know, like Emma Thompson's voice.
That would be quite
Something like
soothing.
that. Like, that'd be
like
quite
you were
good.
Will Ferrell's character in Stranger Than Fiction.
I think that'd be lovely.
Gavin, turn to the right.
Yeah.
And Joe's giving me a second email here.
'Cause I thought
who
you'd like two little ones.
Yeah, he has the alarming subject title, Soiled Undies.
Possibly.
In reference to Alex mentioning Madonna wearing a... What is this what happens when
Last
we're away?
week, Alex talked about Darth Vader on GPS and Madonna's knickers.
In reference to Alex mentioning Madonna wearing a pair of knickers once and then chucking them away, I heard the same story about Usher, which obviously made me wonder, did they wash the pants before throwing them away? Or are there landfills somewhere full of soiled Usher Madonna grundies? If you were rich, would you just be going through them?
I'd be
You like doing washing?
I'm quite thrifty, and I think I would be more thrifty if I was rich. Like, I'm not tight at all.
No,
but
you're not at all.
I am thrifty, and I just think I couldn't.
You couldn't be decadent.
Anytime that I waste something, I hear like my nan or my mum or my dad's voice in my head going, "What the fuck are you doing? Who do you think you are, wasting shit?"
But what do you think?
Get that out the bin now.
If you
Lick it
are-
up. What?
If you are a celebrity that throws away their pants after one use,
Yeah.
what do you do with those?
Who's buying the new pants for them?
What's the
PAs.
people sorting it? You're not binning them. Someone's
Yeah,
just
but what are the
cleaning them up.
people doing? There's got to be a chain somewhere that ends. They're not throwing them away in biohazard boxes or something, are they?
Yeah.
They're taking them home.
I would take them home, yeah. I would
They'd
absolutely take them
be
home.
the most expensive pants you ever wore. Yeah. Gold.
Yeah.
And you wear them at night, think you're Madonna.
Platinum chain.
I always find it like strange when people slag off like celebrities and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, did you hear that?" And they come up with some crazy thing that people do. It's like, do you know how much stuff these people have got to do every day? Like, it's not an easy life being a celebrity. Like with those Stranger Things kids the other day, like they had this like big wardrobe lady there who was like dressing them for the day because they had like 5 different.
When you say she was a big wardrobe lady, do you mean she was a big wardrobe?
like Beauty and the Beast,
a big female wardrobe?
No,
She's doing a dance number but it's after.
Yeah, she was, but she had all their clothes for the day because they were doing different appearances. And like, I was going, oh god, look at all the clothes they want. But actually, I was like, that's something that they just would have to think about themselves, and they've got to be. They're basically performing monkeys for a day. Do you know what I mean?
They're like 11 years old. Imagine having that much responsibility.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
was awful.
What else we got? Was that it?
Oh, well, you've got number 4.
Well,
Oh no, you've got number 4. I got number 5. Do we want another?
yeah, go on.
One more.
All right then.
Kruger's got fire training,
Yes. It's quite soon, isn't it?
which
Thomas-
he elected to do. He loves it.
You've got to do it
Loves
tomorrow.
fire.
No.
Oh, you got to do that next week.
on Saturday.
You've got to do it next week.
Yeah, I got to do it on Wednesday.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Let's get fiery. Thomas Irwin. I'm going to skip the bit where he says nice things about us. I have recently moved to Bulgaria from the UK for uni, and I haven't had a consistent internet connection.
Nice.
So I have been Mr. Robot style stealing Wi-Fi, sat at the back of a Costa. However, I did bring... Is there Costa in Bulgaria? What a world.
Probably.
However, I did bring a USB with the odd film on, one of which was Cabin in the Woods. After watching it, I thought the film would be a brilliant adaptation to TV. The show would follow the workers at the centre in an office-esque way. Sorry, esque is spelled weird. Way with each season covering a year's ritual, whilst also having to set up the actual event laid throughout. Sorry, this is weird. Since each season is a year, they could represent horror as it aged. So you would have a classic slasher era season, etc. What do you guys think of this? And do you guys have any ideas for movies that would make a good TV adaptation? Also, today they've announced that they might be making a Purge TV series, which I think is a brilliant idea.
We love purging.
We love purging.
We discussed this in the pub the other day, and Joe's family actually invented the purge.
My dad made up the Purge.
That's so interesting.
We told, we accosted some nice Scottish father and son duo who'd just come for a quiet pint.
I remember this.
And drunkenly Gav started asking if they'd been out to the Purge.
Quiet pint turns into a quiet purge, turns into a big purge, turns into a day of purge.
Turns into the Purge Anarchy.
Purge Anarchy, yeah.
And then it turns out you're purging when it's not actually the purging, you're just killing.
It's like
That's the story of my life. I just can't stop.
I can't stop bloody purging.
Purge.
Well, they're making Wolf Creek into a TV series, or already
Yes, they have,
made.
yeah.
What?
Yeah. But it's like a 6-episode miniseries.
Oh, that makes more sense.
I think I like the idea of the cabin in the woods thing. Like, just
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Just focusing exclusively in the office, not doing the other bits, not seeing the reverses.
That was all the really exciting stuff.
That was the best stuff. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Wasn't the guy from West Wing?
Bradley Whitford.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the dad from Step Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Lemon Lyman,
Yeah.
as he will be known.
What?
No, Bradley Whitford's character.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and the guy from 6 Feet Under as well. Those guys that would be brilliant to watch.
It would be a fantastic, and I really like the idea of each season being a different era of horror.
Well, I guess that's the thing that people have really latched onto with American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the same with Fargo as well. Like they're just changing it up every time.
The showrunner on bring it full circle. The showrunner on Iron Fist used to do 6 Feet Under.
Really?
Yeah.
And didn't you say the
Punisher
Alan
guy,
Ball?
not that one,
Okay,
the other
right.
one, another writer,
Right.
and the guy doing the Punisher miniseries wrote all the best episodes of Hannibal with Brian Fuller.
that's
Wow.
going to
They get
be
some
nuts.
good people. Yeah,
And the guy who did Fargo is doing Legion.
Yeah.
Like, Legion
God,
is something
Legion
I'm
looks
really
so
excited for, yeah.
good.
people
Did I
like
see it?
That's early 2017.
Yeah, Punisher. You think about it, like someone who kills for a reason that he can justify to himself. It's Hannibal.
Well,
The only thing is though,
Don't eat him.
that is good that lead guy's doing Legion, but that means we ain't getting Fargo. For
good
ages.
Fargo.
Well,
They announced season 3 though, right?
Yeah,
maybe doing both. Doing overtime.
I don't think
Working weekends.
I don't
Working
think
weekends.
he is.
Double tap.
That's a good one. Yeah, let us know what TV shows you think should be.
And we'll get back to you once we've had a little think about that one.
Yes.
And we'll come in with
Put on the
pitches.
spot.
Okay,
That's a
that
great idea.
is
Yeah.
episode 351.
in the can.
Done. Thank you very much. I've been Daniel Krupa. I've been joined by Joe Scrabbles.
Yes, you have.
And also Hero for Hire. The Goose Island King.
They call him.
Anyone could be a hero, but mostly me.
They call him the back scratcher.
So if you need him, just let him know. Just call for him on Twitter.
I'll be there.
And he'll be there.
Yeah.